Reconciliation assignment assistance enables you to create predicted attributes by using machine learning algorithms that are trained on your historical data. The predicted attributes can then be used to predict the value of standard or system attributes. To use reconciliation assignment assistance, you must first create a predicted attribute. For each predicted attribute, you select a target attribute to train and parameters the target will use in its training. Next, you run a training job to analyze up to 1 year's worth of historical data. Training can be scheduled or performed manually. Then, you run predictions on a per-period basis to predict the values of the specified attribute for the period. You may want to run predictions again if new data is loaded or new profiles are created. Finally, you configure global rules that can be used to populate the values of new profiles, or maintain and update current reconciliation and profile attributes. Let's see how to work with predicted attributes. Before using reconciliation assignment assistance, you need to enable the predictive AI configuration setting. Next, you create a predicted attribute by defining its properties and the parameters that will be used to train it. Enter a name for the predicted attribute. Note that the name must be unique within the user-defined attributes. In Target, select an attribute for which you want to predict values. Up to 1 year of historical data of the target and parameters is used to train the predicted attribute. The read-only field type displays the data type of the target attribute, which cannot be modified after the predicted attribute definition is saved. Note that you cannot select date and multi-line text attributes as target attributes. In repeat training on period, you specify the training frequency. You can train on demand or define a training schedule. The No Training option specifies that the training is performed on demand. This option is useful while you finalize the predicted attribute definition. It is a best practice to set up the training frequency on a schedule so that the training runs every period automatically. The start date and end date options let you select the number of days to offset from your period start date or end date respectively. The close date option lets you select the number of days from your period close date. On the Parameters tab, select the attributes that you want to use in the training of the predicted attribute. Your profile segments are selected by default. A maximum of 10 parameters is allowed. You can edit these parameters to tune your training model if you do not get expected accuracy. Next, run the training. Select a period for the training job. It is recommended that the period should have a full set of reconciliation data. In most cases, this is your prior period. Note that locked periods are not displayed in the period list. The training analyzes up to 1 year's worth of data. A higher weight is given to the most recent periods. Note that targets and parameters with a high volume of data may be evaluated on fewer periods. I'll start a training job. The stage shows the status of the training job. Once the training is complete, the training time is displayed. Depending on the size of your historical data, the training job can take seconds, minutes, or possibly hours. Because the training job runs in the background, you can close this dialog box and then access the job results later from the Jobs card. On the Properties tab, you can see the training status, the training date, and expected accuracy. You want a high accuracy, so if you get an expected accuracy that isn't to your liking, you can adjust your parameters and run the training again. After the training is complete, you can run predictions. Predictions are typically run multiple times throughout the period. For example, when new profiles are created, reconciliations are created or deleted, or new account combinations are created. Select a period to run predictions and start the job. This is typically the current period's reconciliations you are working on. The stage shows the status of the predict job. Once the job is complete, the prediction time and the number of attribute values predicted for the selected period are displayed. Unlike the training expected accuracy that you can view for each predicted attribute, You can see the predicted values and prediction confidence in the reconciliation list or profile list. Expected accuracy is a general indicator of the overall accuracy of a training job. It can be used to compare the fit of different parameters used in different training runs. Prediction confidence is the individual accuracy of a single predicted value. Because the prediction confidence can vary value to value, it's possible to have a training run with mediocre accuracy produce some very high prediction confidence scores and others very low. The predicted values shown for their predicted attributes are stored as separate attributes and can be compared with existing data or copied into existing standard or custom attributes. For each predicted attribute, a separate attribute is automatically created to store its confidence score. For example, for the predicted risk rating predicted attribute, its confidence score is stored in the predicted risk rating confidence attribute. Let's now see how you can use the predicted attributes in global rules. I already have a global rule that updates profile and reconciliation attributes. I'll add risk rating to the rule. By adding risk rating as my attribute and selecting copy as my method and replace as my operation, I am copying my predicted risk rating value and replacing my current risk rating if my predicted attribute confidence is 95% or higher. I'll save the changes. When the rule is run after the next balance load, it will update the risk rating attribute values with the predicted values based on the confidence score. To learn more, visit docs.oracle.com.